My dear child, God is speaking to you right now. You've been fighting battles no one sees, carrying a heart full of silent pain, pretending to be strong when you're breaking inside. But listen, this is not the end of your story. God says, I know you're tired. I know the road feels long, but my hands are still holding you. You may not see the way forward, but He's already cleared the path. You may feel alone, but heaven has never left your side. The very storm you thought would destroy you is the one He's using to protect and prepare you. So take a deep breath, my child, because what's coming next is peace. Real, unshakable, God-given peace. Stay till the end of this message, because what you're about to hear might be the answer to the prayer you whispered last night. Welcome to Faith Vibes, where every word is a whisper from heaven. Here, you'll find daily Christian messages, divine encouragement, and God's voice reminding you you are loved, chosen, and never alone. So if your heart needs peace, if your soul needs hope, you're in the right place. Because on Faith Vibes, faith isn't just spoken, it's felt. My child, stop for a moment. Take a deep breath, because this moment, right here, right now, is not random. It's not an accident that you're hearing these words. God brought you here for a reason. He knows exactly what you're going through. The heaviness in your heart, the fears you hide behind your smile, the questions you whisper when no one's around. He's heard them all. Maybe lately, you've been feeling like the world is closing in on you, like everything is uncertain, unstable, and unsafe. You scroll through your phone and see chaos, wars, anger, broken families, people losing hope. You turn off the screen, but the fear doesn't fade, because deep inside you're wondering, God, am I really safe? Will everything be okay? And in this very moment, God is answering you. He's saying, my child, do not be afraid. I am with you. I will keep you safe. Those words aren't empty. They're not just comforting phrases. They're a divine promise. When God says, I will keep you safe, He's declaring that nothing, not fear, not pain, not loss, not even darkness, can take away the protection He's placed over your life. He sees how tired you are. You've been trying to stay strong for everyone around you, pretending everything is fine, even when you feel like breaking inside. You've smiled through pain, prayed through fear, and held on to hope even when it felt impossible. But the truth is, you've been silently asking, God, where are you? And He's whispering to you now, I never left. You see, sometimes God's silence isn't absence, it's protection. When you think nothing is happening, He's actually working behind the scenes, arranging people, places, and moments that will eventually reveal His plan. The reason you didn't fall apart completely wasn't luck. It was grace. The reason you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, is because His hand has never left your side. Maybe you can remember a time when things could have gone horribly wrong, an accident that didn't happen, a deal that fell through, a relationship that ended, and you didn't understand why. But now, looking back, you realize it was God keeping you safe. He closed that door not to punish you, but to protect you. He took something away because He saw something ahead you couldn't see. Sometimes God, no, is actually I love you. And when He says, I'll keep you safe, He doesn't mean life will be easy. He means even in the hardest moments, He will be your shelter. When you feel like the world is falling apart, He will be the ground you stand on. When people walk out, He will be the one who stays. When fear tries to grip your mind, He will wrap you in peace that no one can explain. He's saying, I've seen the nights you cried yourself to sleep. I've heard every prayer, even the ones you were too tired to say out loud. I know the pain you carry, and I promise you, I will not let you be destroyed by it. You might feel like everything is spinning out of control, but in heaven's eyes, everything is still under control. God has not abandoned you. He's not ignoring you. He's protecting you from dangers you can't see, from paths that would have led to pain, from people who weren't meant to go where you're going. There's a verse in Isaiah 41, verse 10, that says, Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's not just ancient scripture. That's God speaking directly to you right now. You might be feeling broken, lost, or anxious, but he's saying, you are safe in my hands. Think about that for a moment. The same hands that shaped the stars, painted the skies, and calmed the sea, those same hands are holding you. No one can snatch you out of them. No storm can take you from them. That's how deeply you are loved. When the world around you changes, when people disappoint you, when your plans fall apart, God remains unshaken. His love is the safest place you could ever be. You might not understand what he's doing right now, but one day you'll realize that even in the pain, he was building your protection. He's saying, you are my child. I've placed my mark upon you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I will go before you and make the crooked paths straight. I will be your defender, your refuge, your peace. So even if the road ahead feels dark, walk with faith. Even if fear whispers, you're not safe, let your soul respond. My God said I am. Because safety in God isn't the absence of trouble. It's the presence of peace in the middle of it. You might still walk through storms, but you'll walk through them protected. You might face giants, but you won't face them alone. You might fall, but you will never stay down, because his hand will lift you every single time. Maybe you've been searching for signs that God is still with you. This right here is your sign. He's telling you, I will keep you safe. I will guide your steps. I will protect your heart. So, close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Let go of the fear you've been carrying. God is saying, you don't have to fight this alone anymore. Hand it over to me. Let me carry what you can't. Rest, my child. You are safe. You've made it through so much already. You've faced days that should have broken you, but here you are, still standing, still believing, still hoping. That's not weakness. That's proof of God's strength within you. And right now, heaven is declaring over your life, you are protected. You are covered. You are safe. No evil can touch what God has already claimed as his own. No fear can overpower the peace he gives. No storm can destroy the one who's anchored in his love. So, the next time anxiety rises, whisper this truth to your soul. God says I'll keep you safe, and he never breaks a promise. Sometimes when the world feels unsafe, when everything around you seems unstable, it's hard to hold on to peace. You wake up, check the news, and see nothing but fear, violence, sickness, uncertainty, anger, and you whisper quietly, God, what's happening? Where are you in all this? You're not alone in feeling that way. Many hearts right now are restless. Many minds are overwhelmed. But in the middle of all this chaos, there's a still small voice that says, peace, be still. That voice belongs to God, the same God who calmed a raging sea, the same God who speaks to your heart right now, saying, you don't have to be afraid. I am still in control. There are moments when life feels like it's spiraling. You see doors closing, people leaving, opportunities fading, and it feels like the ground beneath you is shaking. You start to wonder if God even remembers your name. You question whether your prayers reach heaven at all. But listen closely. God has not forgotten you, not even for a second. Every tear you've cried, he's counted. Every sleepless night you've endured, he's seen. Every whispered prayer, he's heard. God's silence doesn't mean absence. It means preparation. When you think he's doing nothing, he's actually doing everything. Think about it. If God can control the vastness of the universe, if he can tell the sun when to rise and the moon when to glow, don't you think he can handle the small details of your life too? You might not see the way, but he's already mapped it out. You might not understand what's happening, but he does. He's saying to you right now, I am your refuge. I am your safe place. I am your hiding spot in the storm. When the world feels unsafe, you can rest in his arms, because his arms never fail. His promises never break. His presence never fades. There's something powerful about understanding that you are fully seen by God. You don't have to pretend to be strong in front of him. You don't have to hide your fears, your worries, or your tears. He already knows. He knows the pain behind your smile. He knows the story behind your silence. Sometimes we think God only shows up in miracles, in the big, dramatic moments where everything suddenly changes. But the truth is, God is often found in the quiet, in the strength to get through one more day, in the peace that comes out of nowhere, in the small reminder that says, you're not alone. You see, safety in God doesn't always mean the storm will stop. Sometimes it means the storm will keep raging, but your heart will stay calm. That's divine protection. The world might not understand it. How someone can go through pain and still smile. How someone can face loss and still at peace. But you know why? Because you found your safety in something unshakable, in someone eternal. And that someone is God. Maybe lately, you've been struggling with fear. Fear about your future, your finances, your family, your health. The enemy uses fear to break you, to make you doubt the promises of God. But remember this, fear is a liar. Fear magnifies problems, while faith magnifies God. You can't live in both fear and faith at the same time. You have to choose which one leads you. And today, God is gently calling you to choose faith. Because when you choose faith, you're choosing to trust that even when life doesn't make sense, God's plan does. There's a verse in Psalm 46, verse 1 that says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. That means he's not just a distant God watching from above. He's present, right here, right now. He's sitting beside you as you listen to these words. He's comforting you, reminding you that no matter how uncertain life feels, you are safe in his care. Do you remember a time when everything seemed lost, but somehow you made it through? That was God. When you didn't have the strength to keep going, but something inside pushed you to take one more step. That was God. When the worst thing happened, but you still found peace, that was God. He's been protecting you long, before you even realized it. Maybe there were accidents you narrowly avoided, friendships that ended before they could hurt you, jobs you didn't get because God had something better. Every no in your life was a rejection. It was divine protection. And right now he's saying, trust me, I'm not finished yet. You might feel surrounded by problems, but you're actually surrounded by God. You might feel small in front of your challenges, but your challenges are small in front of your God. The truth is, if the enemy could have destroyed you, he would have done it already, but you're still standing. That means God's protection is stronger than the enemy's attack. That means there's purpose in your survival. You didn't make it this far just to be abandoned now. The same God who carried you through yesterday will carry you through tomorrow. So, even when life feels unsafe, even when the world looks dark, remember who your protector is. It's not your job, not your money, not your connections. It's the Almighty God, the one who says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When you truly believe that, fear begins to lose its grip. You start to realize that no matter what happens around you, your soul is anchored in peace. You are safe not because of what surrounds you, but because of who surrounds you. And that's why today, God says to you, my child, don't be afraid of what's ahead. Don't let the noise of this world drown out my voice. I am your shield. I am your protector. I will keep you safe, not just today, but every day of your life. So lift your head, wipe your tears. You're not forgotten. You're not abandoned. You're chosen. You're protected. The safest place in the entire world is not a physical location. It's the presence of God. And if he is with you, and he is, then you are already safe. You may not see it, but right now, God is working behind the scenes. He's moving pieces in ways you can't imagine, rearranging moments, redirecting your steps, and protecting you from things you don't even know are coming. Sometimes you ask for blessings, and it feels like nothing happens. But what if the delay isn't denial? What if the silence is safety? There are dangers you never saw, situations that could have broken you, people who could have betrayed you, roads that could have destroyed you. But before those things could even reach you, God's hand stopped them. You didn't see it happen, but heaven did. That sudden change you didn't understand, that plan that fell apart right before it began, that unexpected no, that shattered your hopes. All of it was God's divine redirection. He wasn't rejecting you. He was protecting you. You prayed for promotion, but he saw pressure that would crush your spirit. You prayed for a relationship, but he saw heartbreak that would destroy your peace. You prayed for a door to open, but he knew that what was behind it wasn't his best for you. Sometimes, God's greatest gifts come wrapped in disappointment, because his goal isn't just to make you happy, it's to keep you safe. You see, when God withholds something, it's not punishment, it's protection. He's guarding your destiny from anything that doesn't align with his purpose for your life. You might see loss, but heaven sees safety. You might see rejection, but God sees redirection. Think of Joseph in the Bible, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. For years, it looked like his life was falling apart, but in reality, it was falling into place. Every betrayal, every delay, every lonely night, God was positioning him for a destiny bigger than he could ever dream. That's how divine protection works. It doesn't always look like safety. Sometimes it looks like a storm, but that storm is pushing you toward peace. You might be wondering, if God is protecting me, why does life still hurt? Because even protection requires pruning. Sometimes God has to remove what you think you need, so he can give you what you truly need. He's protecting not just your body, but your heart. Not just your plans, but your purpose. You prayed for success, but he's giving you strength first. You prayed for comfort, but he's building character. You prayed for clarity, but he's teaching you trust. And that's what love looks like. Not giving you everything you want, but everything you need to stay safe and grow strong. Right now, there might be things that didn't go your way, opportunities that slipped away, people who left without explanation, seasons that ended too soon. But what if those endings were God's gentle way of saying, you don't belong there anymore. I have something better for you. It's not rejection, it's relocation. God is moving you to safer ground. You see, we often think safety means comfort, but in God's kingdom, safety means purpose. He's not trying to make you comfortable. He's trying to make you complete. Every door that closed wasn't the enemy. It was God's hand. Every delay wasn't denial. It was his timing. Every heartbreak wasn't punishment. It was protection from something that wasn't built to last. And right now, God is whispering to your spirit, if only you knew what I've kept you from. He's saying, the people who walked away were never meant to carry your promise. The job you lost wasn't big enough for your purpose. The plan that fell apart wasn't the plan I wrote for you. If you could see what he sees, you stop crying over what left and start thanking him for what stayed. Because while you were busy worrying, he was busy working. While you were questioning his silence, he was setting things in motion. He was shielding you from spiritual attacks you didn't even sense. He was blocking conversations meant to harm your name. He was placing you in rooms you didn't even know you needed to be in. That's divine protection. The reason some things didn't happen the way you wanted is because they would have distracted you from your destiny. You prayed for open doors, and he opened the right ones and locked the wrong ones. You prayed for love, and he gave you peace instead, because he knew peace would last longer. So don't mistake his no for neglect. It's actually proof that he loved you too much to let you settle for less than his plan. There's something sacred about the way God protects his children. He doesn't always send lightning or miracles. Sometimes he just whispers, stop. Sometimes it's a feeling in your spirit that tells you not to go. Sometimes it's the uneasiness that makes you pause before saying yes. That's not coincidence. That's the Holy Spirit guarding you. If you ever felt that still, small warning inside, that quiet hesitation that told you this isn't right, that was God keeping you safe. He's not only protecting your path, he's protecting your peace. You might not always understand his ways, but you can always trust his heart, because his love is not just emotional, it's intentional, it's protective, it's eternal. And here's the truth. God's protection doesn't mean you won't face trouble. It means trouble won't win. You might stumble, but you won't fall. You might cry, but you won't break. You might lose something, but you won't lose yourself, because his hand is still holding you. So when you look back at the things that didn't work out, thank him. When you remember the doors that closed, thank him again. Because if you knew what was on the other side of those doors, you'd realize that his no was actually his greatest mercy. God's protection isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, invisible, hidden in moments you never even noticed. But it's there in every breath, every step, every second. And right now he's whispering again, I'm still working. I'm still protecting. You are still safe. Maybe you've been questioning why God allowed certain things to happen. Why did that friendship end when you thought it would last forever? Why did that relationship fall apart after you gave it everything? Why did that job slip through your hands just when you thought your life was finally turned around? Those moments can break your heart, can't they? They leave you confused, sitting in silence, wondering, God, why would you let this happen to me? But here's something powerful. Sometimes God's greatest protection comes disguised as pain. He allows something to fall apart because he's keeping something else from falling apart later. He lets people leave because their presence would have delayed your purpose. He lets doors close because he's preparing one that will never shut. What you see as loss, heaven sees as rescue. What you think is punishment is actually preparation. When you pray for safety, God doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes he removes the people in places that can't survive the storm with you. And that hurts, doesn't it? Because you love those people. You counted on those plans. You built your hopes around those dreams. But here's the truth. God will never take something away unless he plans to replace it with something better. You just can't see it yet. The reason it still hurts is because you haven't seen what he's preparing. You're still in the middle of the story. And it's hard to understand a masterpiece when you're only looking at one brushstroke. Think of the times in your past when you thought your world was falling apart, but later you realized it was falling into place. The heartbreak that taught you strength, the failure that built your faith, the delay that brought divine timing. Every moment that broke you also built you. And now, God is saying, I was protecting you all along. You may have wanted that person to stay, but they couldn't go where you're going. You may have begged for that opportunity, but it would have taken your peace. You may have prayed for that door to open, but what waited behind it wasn't safe for your soul. He saw things you couldn't see. He heard conversations you didn't hear. He knew intentions you couldn't read. So he stepped in quietly, lovingly, and closed what you were trying to force open. At that moment, you felt disappointment. But in heaven, it was celebration, because God just saved his child from something that wasn't meant for them. It's hard to trust that kind of love when your heart is hurting. It's hard to see God's hand when all you can see are the pieces. But sometimes peace comes after you stop asking why and start trusting who. He's saying to you now, trust me, I never stopped caring. I never stopped protecting you. What I took away wasn't punishment, it was protection. Every closed door is a whisper from heaven saying, not this way, my child. I have something better. Maybe right now you're walking through that painful in-between, the space between what you lost and what hasn't arrived yet. That's the hardest place to be. It's where faith feels thin and patience feels impossible. But that's where God does his best work. It's in that middle ground that he strengthens you. It's there that he teaches you to depend not on outcomes, but on his presence. Because the truth is, his presence is your protection. When everything familiar is gone, when everyone you lean on has walked away, when the plan you built your life on suddenly crumbles, that's when you discover what safety really means. It's not in having control. It's in knowing who's in control. God is saying, you didn't lose anything that was meant to stay. I only removed what could not walk with you into the next chapter of your story. You think you're being emptied, but you're actually being prepared to be filled. You think something ended, but something divine just began. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and say, thank you, God. Thank you for every no that protected me, every delay that shaped me, every ending that saved me. Because when God closes one door, he doesn't just leave you in the hallway. He opens another, one that leads to peace, purpose, and protection. It's okay if you don't understand it right now. It's okay if it still hurts. Healing takes time and faith takes trust. But let this truth anchor you tonight. God's plan has never failed, and it won't start failing with you. The same God who watched over David in the cave, who kept Daniel safe in the lion's den, who protected the Israelites in the desert, that same God is protecting you. He hasn't changed. His power hasn't weakened. His love hasn't faded. So when your heart asks why, let your spirit answer, because he loves me. You don't have to understand everything to trust him. You just have to remember that he's good, even when life isn't. Sometimes God's way of keeping you safe is to make you uncomfortable, because he knows if you stayed where you were, you'd never grow into who he called you to be. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's not failure, it's foundation. It's not loss, it's love. God's protection doesn't always feel gentle, but it's always perfect. You might not see his hand, but you can feel his presence. You might not see the full picture, but you can trust the artist. So tonight, instead of asking God to bring back what you lost, ask him to help you trust what he's doing. Because he's saying, "My child, I'm not done with your story. Every ending I've written was to make space for a safer, stronger beginning. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not lost. You are being protected by the God who sees the future you cannot yet see. And one day, when everything makes sense, you'll thank him, not just for what he gave you, but for everything he didn't. My child, I know you're tired. You've been strong for so long that your soul is aching. You've smiled when you wanted to cry. You said, 'I'm fine,' when deep down you were breaking apart. But listen to me. I've seen every tear you cried in silence. I've watched you hold your chest when the pain became too heavy. I've seen you pray, not with words, but with tears that fell onto your pillow. I was there, every single time you thought you were alone, but my presence never left your side. When the world turned its back on you, I stood behind you, keeping you from falling. When people doubted you, I whispered strength into your spirit. When you felt invisible, I surrounded you with my love that can't be seen, only felt. You keep asking, "God, are you even listening?" And my answer is, yes, my child. I've never stopped listening. I've never stopped caring. The pain you're feeling is not the end of your story. It's the part of the story that teaches you trust. Trust in me, not in what you see. You see, I never promised that the road would be easy, but I did promise that I would walk with you through it. Even when the night feels endless, I am the light that never fades. Even when you can't hear my voice, I am speaking through the quiet. Even when you can't feel my hand, I am holding you tighter than ever. Every battle you face wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal the strength I place inside you. You thought you were losing, but you were being refined. You thought you were breaking, but you were being built. Sometimes, the blessing isn't in what I give, it's in what I take away. Sometimes, the miracle isn't in the mountain moving, it's in the strength you gain while climbing it. And yes, I know the waiting hurts. You've prayed for answers that haven't come. You've begged for signs that never appeared. You've looked at others being blessed and wondered, "God, when will it be my turn?" But my timing isn't late, it's perfect. You may not see what I'm doing behind the scenes, but every delay, every detour, every disappointment, it's aligning with my divine design. When you're ready, when your heart is steady, when your faith is mature, then the door will open. And when it does, you'll realize why I made you wait. Because what's coming is not ordinary, it's sacred. It's tailored for you. I know there were moments when you felt like giving up, when the weight of life felt unbearable. But even then, I was whispering to your heart, "Keep going, my child. You're closer than you think." You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to carry the weight alone. You just need to trust me, step by step, breath by breath, day by day. Let me remind you of something. I don't make mistakes. Every chapter I've written for your life has a purpose. Every heartbreak has hidden wisdom. Every delay carries protection. Every no is leading you toward divine yes. And no matter how dark it gets, I want you to remember this. I am with you. When you feel weak, I am your strength. When you are afraid, I am your shield. When you are lost, I am your way. When you are broken, I am your healer. You are not forgotten, my child. You are chosen. Before you were born, I had a plan for you, a plan no one can cancel, no storm can erase, no person can steal. You are still on that path, even if it feels like you've wandered off. Because every time you fall, I reach down and lift you up. Every time you drift, I gently call you home. Every time you cry, I turn those tears into strength. Your pain has a purpose. Your journey has meaning. And your life, no matter how messy or broken it may seem, is still in my hands. I know you've lost some people. you thought would always be there. But I removed them because I heard conversations you didn't. I saw things they hid from you. I knew the paths they were walking would hurt you more than help you. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll thank me for what didn't work out. And that heartbreak, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to rebuild you, stronger, wiser, softer. You're becoming the person I always intended you to be. So stop doubting your worth. Stop thinking you're behind. Stop comparing your story to others. Your timeline is sacred. Your process is holy. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Prepared for something greater than you imagined. I am restoring what you lost. I am healing what was broken. I am replacing what was stolen. And I am preparing blessings that will make you forget the pain of the waiting. Hold on to hope, my child, because soon what you've been praying for will come, not when you demand it, but when you're ready to receive it. Until then, rest in me. Trust that I'm working even when you can't see it. And know that my love for you will never change. Not on your best day, not on your worst. You are my creation. You are my child, and I will keep you safe. No weapon formed against you will prosper. No storm will drown you. No darkness will overcome you. Because I am with you, and I always will be. One day, you'll look back at this season and realize every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every closed door was part of my protection. I was never punishing you. I was preparing you. And now, the time is coming when you'll step into what I promised, not by your strength, but by my grace. Until then, keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing. Because my child, I'll keep you safe now and forever. There's a verse in the Bible that feels like a warm embrace in the middle of a cold night. Psalm 91 says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." Take a moment and really let those words sink in. He will cover you. That's not a maybe, that's a promise. Imagine a mother bird spreading her wings over her little ones during a storm. The wind howls, the rain beats down, lightning flashes across the sky. But under her wings, it's calm, it's warm, it's safe. That's how God protects you. The world outside might be raging, but under his wings, you are hidden. The storm can roar all at once, but it cannot touch what God has covered. When the Bible says you will find refuge, it means that no matter what comes, sickness, fear, betrayal, or loss, there's always a place where you can run and rest. That place is not a building. It's not a person. It's God himself. He is not a distant protector watching from afar. He is a present refuge. His wings, his presence, are your shelter. And maybe you don't feel it right now. Maybe it seems like you're standing alone in the storm. But listen carefully. Protection isn't always the absence of storm. Sometimes it's the presence of peace inside the storm. God doesn't always calm the wind immediately. Sometimes he calms your heart first. He doesn't always stop the rain, but he gives you a covering so you don't drown in it. There are things God shields you from that you never even notice. Accidents that didn't happen. Phone calls that didn't come. Opportunities that fell through. People who left your life before they could break you. You may think it was coincidence, but in heaven's record, it was protection. My child, you have no idea how many times I've covered you when you didn't even ask. How many dangers I've turned away without your knowing. How many traps were set against you, but none succeeded because I was standing guard. You see, protection isn't just physical, it's spiritual. I've kept your mind when the enemy tried to break it. I've kept your heart when pain tried to harden it. I've kept your faith alive when the world tried to crush it. When Psalm 91 says his faithfulness will be your shield, it means you are surrounded, not by luck, not by chance, but by divine loyalty. Even when you are faithless, God remains faithful. Even when you doubt him, he still defends you. That's what real love does. It protects, even when it's not noticed. It guards you, even when you forget to say thank you. Think of the times you were running late, and you felt frustrated, angry, stressed, but maybe that delay saved you from something unseen. Think of the nights you cried yourself to sleep, and somehow you woke up the next day with a little more strength. Think of the moments you wanted to give up, but something deep inside whispered, keep going. That wasn't your strength. That was God's protection at work. When God says, I will keep you safe, He's not just talking about saving you from danger. He's also talking about saving you from despair. He's protecting your hope from dying. He's protecting your peace from being stolen. He's protecting your faith from being extinguished by fear. Even now, as you listen to this message, God's presence surrounds you. It doesn't matter where you are, in your room, in your car, or sitting in silence. His wings are over you. He says, My child, I am your refuge and your fortress. You don't need to fear the arrows that fly by day, nor the terror that comes at night. 1,000 may fall beside you, 10,000 around you, but it will not come near you. Do you see what that means? God isn't saying the danger doesn't exist. He's saying it won't touch you because His covering is stronger. Sometimes He'll let you see the storm, not to scare you, but to remind you that even in chaos, you are safe. Sometimes He'll let you feel the shaking, not to make you afraid, but to show you that your foundation is unshakable when it's built on Him. You've been worrying about the future, but God's already there. You've been anxious about tomorrow, but He's already written it. He's not figuring things out. He's finished them. When He says, I will keep you safe, it's not an empty promise. It's a covenant. He has assigned angels concerning you. They stand guard, unseen but mighty. Every step you take, they walk beside you. Every night you sleep, they watch over you. And yes, sometimes you'll still face pain. Sometimes you'll still face loss. But remember this truth. Protection doesn't mean you won't face hardship. It means hardship won't defeat you. You'll bend, but you won't break. You'll cry, but you won't collapse. You'll be tested, but not destroyed. Because the God who covers you doesn't lose battles. So when fear whispers, you're not safe, faith responds, I'm covered. When worry says, what if it all falls apart? God says, even then, I will hold you together. When doubt says, you can't make it, He says, you already have because I'm with you. The next time the world feels overwhelming, stop, breathe, and picture yourself under His wings, warm, still, protected. You don't need to fight for control. You just need to rest in His care. Because no matter how loud the storm gets, no matter how fierce the winds blow, your Father hasn't moved. His wings are still spread wide. His protection hasn't weakened. His love hasn't faded. He says again to your heart right now, my child, stay close to me. Trust my timing. Do not be afraid of what you see, because I'm covering you from what you can't see. You are safe under my wings. I will keep you safe. My child, look at your life for a moment. You've been through things that should have broken you. You faced storms that were meant to crush your faith, and yet, here you are, still standing. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's proof. Proof that I, your Father, have kept you safe through it all. Every morning you woke up when you thought you couldn't. That was me breathing strength into your lungs. Every time you smiled when your heart was still aching, that was my peace holding you together. Every time you survived what others didn't think you would, that was my protection at work. You've been praying for a miracle, but my beloved, you are the miracle. The fact that you're still here, still fighting, still believing, still hoping, means my hand has never left your life. There were moments when you thought, I can't do this anymore. But somehow you kept going. When fear tried to silence your faith, my voice whispered, keep walking. When pain tried to paralyze your heart, I gave you the strength to move forward anyway. When the enemy tried to convince you that it was over, I said, it's not over yet. And even now, while you're listening to these words, I'm reminding your spirit that you've never walked alone. Every battle, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, I was right there with you. You didn't see me, but you felt me. You felt that small wave of calm when everything else was chaos. You felt that flicker of hope when you had no reason to hope. That was me, covering you with grace. Do you remember those nights when you cried and no one knew? When the world was asleep and your pillow was wet with tears? I was beside you. I didn't turn away. I held you close and whispered, you'll get through this. And you did. You see, my child, I don't measure your strength by how loud your faith sounds. I measure it by how you keep trusting me in silence. When you keep believing even when you see nothing, that's faith. When you choose to get up after falling again, that's courage. And when you keep going even when your heart is breaking, that's my strength working through you. You've been asking me, God, will things finally change? And I want you to know they already are. Every tear you've shed has watered the seeds of your breakthrough. Every prayer you've whispered has been recorded in heaven. Every time you chose to forgive instead of hate, to love instead of turn bitter, you've invited my presence deeper into your life. You may not see it yet, but I've been rebuilding what was broken. You thought your story was ending, but I was rewriting it. You thought I was silent, but I was working in the silence. Because sometimes I rebuild in secret so that when the blessing appears, everyone will know it was me. The healing you've been waiting for, it's on its way. The peace you've been searching for, it's already forming inside you. The answers you've been praying for, they're coming one step, one day, one miracle at a time. You spent so much time looking at what you lost that you've forgotten what you still have. Me. I am your constant. When everything else changes, I remain. When people leave, I stay. When the world shifts, my love stands unshaken. You say, God, I'm tired. And I say, rest, my child. I am still in control. You say, God, I don't know what to do. And I say, you don't have to, just trust me. You say, God, I can't carry this anymore. And I say, then give it to me. I've carried heavier. Every scar on your heart is proof that you survived something that was meant to destroy you. But you didn't just survive, you're being shaped. You're being strengthened. You're being prepared. Do you remember David in the Bible? Before he faced Goliath, he fought lions and bears in the fields. Those battles prepared him for his purpose. In the same way, every challenge you face has been preparing you for what's coming. You've learned to pray deeper. You've learned to forgive quicker. You've learned to depend on me fully. And soon, you'll see why you had to go through it all. Because I never waste pain. I use it. I transform it. What the enemy meant for evil, I will turn into testimony. What broke your heart will one day inspire others. What hurt you will one day heal someone else through your story. So, my child, don't despise the process. Don't curse the season you're in. The waiting isn't punishment. It's preparation. The silence is a rejection. It's protection. The delay isn't denial. It's direction. I know the waiting is long. I know the road feels lonely. But I promise you this. Every step you take in faith is leading you closer to victory. Look back for a moment. See how far you've come. You thought you wouldn't survive that loss, but you did. You thought you'd never heal from that betrayal, but your heart still beats with love. You thought you'd never find peace again, but here you are, listening to my words, still hoping, still believing. You're not the same person you were back then. You're stronger now, wiser, softer, but not weaker, because you've learned that faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting me when you don't. And I want you to know something important. You're entering a new season. The battles you fought were not for nothing. The prayers you prayed have not gone unheard. The pain you've carried will soon make sense. I'm restoring everything you thought was lost. I'm bringing healing where there's been heartbreak. I'm sending provision where there's been lack. I'm replacing fear with peace, sorrow with joy, and despair with divine strength. So, don't give up now. You're closer to the breakthrough than you realize. What I promise you, I will fulfill. What I started in your life, I will complete. And as you walk forward, remember this. You are not walking alone. I'm ahead of you, clearing the path. I'm beside you, holding your hand. And I'm behind you, protecting your back. You don't have to understand everything. You just have to believe that I am working everything for your good. You don't have to fear what's coming, because what's coming is blessed. My child, this is not the end. This is your renewal. This is where faith turns into sight, where tears turn into testimonies, and where pain turns into purpose. So keep walking, keep believing, because every step you take is proof that I've kept my promise. I will keep you safe. My child, you've carried so much for so long. You've walked through valleys so dark that even hope seems silent. But I want you to hear me now. This is not the end of your story. You don't have to live afraid anymore. You don't have to carry that weight that keeps pressing on your chest. Because I am here and I am not leaving. I've seen how the world around you feels uncertain. The chaos, the fear, the confusion that fills every headline, every conversation. You've tried to stay strong, to stay faithful. But sometimes it's hard to breathe under pressure. So let me take that weight. Let me hold what you've been trying to manage on your own. Because, my child, you were never meant to carry it alone. I am your protector, not just in the easy moments, but in the storms. Not just in the daylight, but in the midnight hour when your thoughts won't stop racing. When you cry, I am near. When you doubt, I am patient. When you fear, I remind you you are safe with me. There are things in life you can't control. There are people who will hurt you, and moments that will shake you. But nothing, not the pain, not the past, not the storm, can remove you from the safety of my hands. Do you remember when you thought you were at your breaking point? When you whispered, God, I can't take another step? You didn't know it then, but I lifted you. You didn't walk out of that storm alone. I carried you, and I'm still carrying you. The road you're on may not make sense right now. You may not see the purpose in the waiting or the beauty in the pain. But every moment you've lived has been part of a bigger story, my story with you. The enemy tried to destroy you, but I used every attack as a setup for your breakthrough. The pain that was meant to stop you is becoming the platform for your strength. And the tears you cried in secret, they're watering the seeds of your next season. I know it's hard to trust when you've been disappointed. I know it's hard to open your heart again after it's been broken. But I promise you, my love will never betray you. People may walk away, but I never will. Promises may break, but mine never fail. Even when you can't see the way forward, I've already gone before you. I'm in tomorrow, preparing peace for you. I'm in next week, arranging blessings you haven't even imagined. And I'm standing beside you right now, covering you with grace for this very moment. You've worried about your future, your family, your finances, your dreams. But I want you to rest. Not because everything makes sense, but because I'm in control. I am your shepherd. I guide your path. I provide your needs and I protect your soul. You are surrounded by angels, even when you don't see them. Every time you leave your home, every time you lay your head to sleep, my protection covers you. The dangers that never touched you were not coincidence. They were my mercy in motion. I've kept you through sickness. I've shielded you from harm. I've stood guard over your heart when darkness tried to steal your peace. And now, I am telling you this with certainty. You will not fall. You will not drown. You will not be destroyed. When you walk through the fire, I will be with you. When you pass through the waters, they will not sweep over you. And when you stand in the storm, I will whisper, Peace, be still. This is my covenant with you. I will keep you safe. Not because you've done everything right, but because I love you. Not because you're perfect, but because you are mine. You've questioned your worth. You've wondered if you matter. But hear this truth. Before you took your first breath, I chose you. Before you spoke your first word, I called you. And nothing you've done, nothing you failed to do, can separate you from my love. You are my child, and I defend what belongs to me. So lift your head, my beloved. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not invisible. You are seen, cherished, and held by hands that never let go. Your tomorrow is already secured. Your story is already redeemed. And your heart, the one that's been broken and bruised, is being made new again. Let me breathe life back into your hope. Let me replace your fear with faith. Let me remind you that no weapon formed against you will prosper, because I stand between you and the enemy. I have commanded my angels to guard you in all your ways. You are covered by my presence, and nothing can penetrate that covering. So, tonight, sleep without fear. Breathe without worry. Walk without anxiety. Because I am watching over you, every second, every heartbeat, every breath. When you wake in the morning, know this. You don't face the day alone. I go before you. I prepare favor before your feet touch the floor. I order peace into your steps. I align blessings with your path.